quality of your questions. Ask better questions. Welcome to day 96 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and today we're talking about all this month, of course, communication. And one of the most powerful communication tools that we have in our own little personal toolboxes is the ability to ask questions. I don't know if you know it or not, but the truth is we are evaluating and asking questions about everything all the time in our mind. Our brains actually think, and I didn't make this up, I learned it from some expert about neurological things, which are things in our brain and how our brain works. We're always asking questions. I think I might have actually first heard about it from Tony Robbins as a separate topic. Tony Robbins I credit him with helping me to understand the power of questions. He used to teach back in the day, and I think he probably still does, the impact that asking questions has on us and on the people around us. After my sudden cardiac arrest, I remember I was listening to something about him and the primary question, your life's primary question. And I realized, to my shock, dismay, and horror, that up until the events leading up to my sudden cardiac arrest, every single day, I was asking myself, what am I going to do about this? I don't know how to handle this. And I was telling myself all these negative messages about I was overwhelmed. I couldn't handle this. I didn't know what to do about a couple of situations I was involved in that were not in my best interest. And the questions I started asking myself, instead of being solution focused and to create the life I want, they were just the opposite. They were beating myself up for making wrong choices and wrong decisions along the way, for linking up with someone that was really, really bad for me, my ex-husband, and trusting that person, and they were totally not trustworthy. So up until that event, I was asking myself all of these terrible questions, which actually resulted in me having a sudden cardiac arrest and almost not being here to talk to you today. So I personally really understand the power of questions, both to impact our lives positively and negatively. Because pretty much everything in the universe, everything we experience is neutral. And it's the meaning that we apply to it that determines whether it's a positive experience for us or a negative experience for us. And that is based on the questions that we ask ourselves in our head about that. I don't know if you know this or not, but we always have little streams of consciousness and things going on in our head all the time, even when we're sleeping, right? That's why we dream, because our brain is still going, even though we are physically resting and recharging our body. So today's topic, ask better questions. And I'm going to say ask, just ask, because I am one of those people that has a hard time, although I'm a recovering non-asker, not asking questions, but asking for help in particular. And I realized that there are so many people in the world that want to help us. They want to help us create the lives that we want, if we just let them know that we would like their help, or that if we ask them a question about, well, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? I'm stuck on this. You know, what in your experience is the power of this, or how do I get out of this? So I learned a long time ago that the quality of the questions that we ask, or the ones we're even willing to ask, have the ability to shape our entire life. They impact our relationships. They impact our results in every area and aspect of our life. The better the questions we ask, and the more empowering and the more possibility-oriented problem-solving questions we ask, the better results we're going to get in each of the different areas and aspects of our life. Open-ended questions are the best because they give us more information. They allow the other person or ourselves to answer from multiple perspectives. We can answer the question and we can go deeper than just the surface of certain situations, which, when we have a challenge or a problem, it's usually the root cause that we're trying to get to. And you don't get that by asking yes or no questions. Asking questions shows respect. It shows the willingness to understand. It shows vulnerability when we're asking for help, because we're like, okay, I try to figure this out myself. I'm beating my head up. I'm beating myself up because I'm beating my head against the wall. I need to just ask. And I think I mentioned a few days ago, every single time I have gotten up the gumption to ask the question, as soon as I ask it, I realize I already know the answer and I already know what to do. I just had that experience over the weekend in a backbone call. I call it an audit. They call it a backbone in a coaching group that I'm working with. And I'm like, okay, yep, all you got to do is ask. So asking questions is extremely powerful. And what's in it for us? Number one, getting a deeper understanding of what's going on so that we know exactly how we can help. Deepening, it's actually, I think, a deeper understanding of everything. We can deepen our relationships. We can deepen our communication skills. We can become a better human being. And isn't that what we're all here for? Aren't we here on this planet to be the best possible version of ourselves? I am. I don't know about the rest of us, but I'm sure it doesn't apply to everybody, but I'm sure there's also a faction of us in humanity that just want to live our life, create positive energy and results in the world, and make the world a better place. So, what are we going to do today? I am going to challenge you to ask at least 3 open-ended questions, meaning non-yes or no questions. I just define open-ended questions as anything that isn't a yes or no or a single selection answer to a question. And those are the most powerful because they allow us to dig deeper and get more information. Ask 3 open-ended questions in a conversation you're on before offering your opinion. Now, this does 2 things. It's got 2 beneficial actions. Number 1, it forces us to actually listen more than we speak. It forces us to listen first and get curious about what the heck is going on with the other person, which shows interest and trust and respect in them. And then we'll have enough information to ask. And generally, I ask 3 open-ended questions. And then I have about 10 more lined up that I want to ask and I want to dig deeper and know. But we're all different. Ask those 3 questions, then take a deep breath and formulate your response or your question or whatever comes next, depending on the situation. I challenge you to do that today at least once and share in the comments below how it went for you, if it had an impact at all. And if you can do it more, I say do it in almost every conversation that you have today. Instead of asking, if somebody comes to you and says, oh, I need help with this problem, or I need a ride for this, or I need this or that, or whatever the thing might be, instead of just immediately reacting and whatever comes into your mind comes out of your mouth. Anybody have that disease called diarrhea of the mouth? Sometimes, right? We all do. But practice curiosity. Asking questions conveys not just curiosity, but interest in the other party, right? It's why we ask questions. Number 1, we want to know the answer and we're curious. Number 2, it shows respect and admiration for the other person. And guess what? There is something to admire in almost every other human being on the planet. And so we're looking for that thing, those things. Question starters are what, how, tell me about, or tell me more. I mean, ask questions. Be curious about other people. Be interested in other people. The best way to be interesting is to be interested in other people or something that other people are interested in. That is the fastest, easiest way to magnetize and be attractive to the people that you want to be involved with. All right. I had reflective questions, but I'm going along. If I can help you anyway, ask. Try asking me an open-ended question. Woo-hoo, there's a good one for today. Have an awesome day, and if I can help you, ask. Otherwise, I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another communication-related topic. And you know what? Before I go, I have to talk about the S in our SOAP framework. I almost forgot. We're covering the SOAP framework this week, too. S stands for story or situation. And so we want to pick a challenge that we're having with respect to communication today, write it down, and then write a couple sentences about what is your current story or situation about that communication challenge. What is your desired situation or story about that communication challenge? I can't believe I almost forgot. I mean, I can believe I almost forgot because I forget a lot of stuff. But I didn't want to forget that. And I do not have my SOAP framework handy. But we're going over the SOAP framework this week. So pick a challenge, a communication challenge that you have. I guarantee we all have one, right? Are we the best speaker in the whole wide world? Are we the best question asker in the whole wide world? Are we the best boundary setter in the whole wide world? Are we the best anything in the whole wide world? Probably not. Therefore, we can all think of one area that we want to improve with respect to communication. I'm going to, of course, pick listening. 2 ears, 1 mouth, because that is my continually improving communication skill area process that I know I always can work on if I can't think of anything else. All right. Sorry about that. Thought I was done and then I teased you. All right, have an amazing day. If you have questions about the soap framework, hit me up and ask to. Otherwise, let's just get that story so we've got the gaps so we can start filling it starting tomorrow. All right, have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.